Hello everybody, welcome to another Starcraft 2 broadcast. I am your host, Anaris. Today we're here watching an interesting 1 versus 1 that has come to my attention from SC2rep.com. We do have ROONRAZER spawning as the Protoss down in the 6 o'clock position against his Terran opponent, StartaleRainbow. As you can actually see, he's asking right now if he is the real Rainbow. And I will say that I did do a little bit of a spoiler just to read the chat. There's actually a giant chat of it over at ST2rep.com. I ran it through the translator, and apparently this is the real StartaleRainbow. Now, of course, this is going based on what he says, so I don't have any sort of third-party official stamp, seal approval or anything like that, but I do have a nifty little Subway gift card, as awesome as that is. Cool indeed. Now, a little bit of information about the map and the players. First of all, start off, we are going to be playing on Shattered Temple, revised edition of Lost Temple. You can see this spot has that nifty little drop area back there, and it largely remains unchanged until you get to the ramp, which you can see. Oh, look! There's no cliff. It's been replaced by a pathway that leads to the island expansion, except island no more. You can see it does indeed have 2 rampways, one leading down to the 6-9, not wow. Okay, clocks are important. 9 o'clock position, natural right here. So you can see the gas has been moved around a little bit as well, a bit easier to defend. On the whole, I like the changes. I think they're pretty good. Alright, so down here, ROONRAZER, you know, he's not a lot of information about him. I did find out he is currently ranked 5th in his Masters Division, 43rd in the region, Korea, and 420th in the world, Q references. Up here for the Terran player, StartaleRainbow, a little bit more well-known player, very aggressive Terran. He is currently code S. Pretty darn enjoyable to watch him play. Like I said, I'm always down for some aggressive play styles, so we can look to see something like that in this game, as these guys are actually pretty far away from each other. They're both of them scouting right now, Protoss, of course, being the first one to locate his opponent. Terran has only scouted the 9 o'clock so far, so he should be able to find the Protoss player next. Good stuff indeed. And of course, ROONRAZER knows he's playing the Terran, so you see he's keeping his structures all nice and tightly packed together. Going for that second gas, we'll see exactly what he's going to be doing here. You know, pretty much anything is on the table at this point. They're not spawning close to each other, so we might not have a lot in the way of aerial harassment like Void Rays or anything like that. But, you know, it still certainly could happen, except on a little bit more larger scale. Again, considering the spawning positions. But, you know, there's a lot of empty area right back here. You can do a little bit of Void Ray harassment, Banshees, like to duck behind the high ground there for just a second, you know, stuff like that. And, oh, this is one thing that I just noticed down here at the minimap. The pylon going down right here. Now, this does serve a purpose. It's going to allow the Protoss player, number one, he can actually warp in units right there, that little tiny spot. But, of course, it is going to allow for scouting, make sure there's not going to be any Reapers, anything like that. We can, of course, see that there was, I think there's a Reaper heading out right now. Yes, alright, so that pylon is probably going to see that Reaper if it does indeed decide to come down this way. Alright, cool. The problem is, Terran, being Terran, has a lot of ranged units, and it's not too uncommon to see Marauders come down here, just kind of run down, oh, look, a gateway. Oh, look, a pylon, and just start taking them out. So that's something that ROONRAZER is going to have to keep in mind. I'm sure he is aware of that, having been promoted to Masters and whatnot. So now we do have the Reaper trying to evade the Probe Army. Is it going to happen, though? Looks like it was able to evacuate to safety, but here comes the Stalker in place, ready to take it out. So very close, and dies mid-air. Oh, man, that is about as high as that guy could possibly jump. I'm sure that fall would have killed him if the Stalker did not. So now ROONRAZER is in a pretty good spot. He's, you know, he can do pretty much anything he wants to at this point. He realizes, alright, Terran, he's, you know, going with the bunker here. I think he actually saw the bunker. No, he did not. Alright, so he doesn't actually know the Terran player is going with a 1-1-1 build. But still, Terran not looking to be super aggressive, at least for this exact moment. But we see there is a medevac coming. We've already got 2 Marauders. What could be going on with that Stimpack research on the way? That'll be pretty sexy. Lend itself well to some early engagements. Doing pretty good, keeping up on the energy there, as you would expect him to. And there's the comm set. Good timing on this by Rainbow. Very, very critical timing. You can actually see he spotted the expansion. He knows the unit composition. He knows there's going to be a lot of energy for force fields. So he probably doesn't want to try to push a direct assault right off the bat. Instead, we're seeing a little bit more of a calculated attack. Oh yes, one medevac here. 4 Marauders ready to go. Following the rally points here, we can see it goes all the way down. Oh, never mind. Changing path there at the last second. ROONRAZER, though, he knows what he's doing, dropping that pylon back there. He'll have a little bit of an early warning as we see. Here comes the dropship right now, folks. 4 Marauders getting ready to head into the back of the base. Protoss is aware of it. Not responding just yet. Looking at the minimap, pylon is definitely going to be going down. Here comes the Protoss response, sending all of his ground forces back to the base. What will die in the meantime, though? 1 probe so very close to death. Yes, indeed. 1 does go down. Might lose a sentry as well here. Getting pretty close. Oh, looks like he's going to attack it. And yes, he does. Medevac going down, actually. Protoss deciding to try to fire that down, realizing if he can take that out, the Marauders will be easy pickings. He's able to save 2 Marauders, though. The Medevac's so very close to dying. Look at that, 35 hit points. In the meantime, though, he has used this opportunity to capture his own natural. You see he's building up his command center right now, and it's just about complete, so we can expect to see him transfer some SCVs down in just a moment or two. Sure enough, there they go, and 3rd Barracks is on the way, and looking over here, we see he's just kind of hanging out in the middle of the map. Of course, Protoss knows exactly where he's at. 2 more Marauders coming. Now, with Rune having control of that watchtower, seeing those 4 Marauders, he might be thinking there's going to be another drop. So if he did indeed see that, speaking of seeing, Observer is popping across the minimap right now. I think it might have clipped the Marauder there. At this point, though, it's not going to be that big of an issue. 1 sentry does go down, but the force wheels are in place. Nice medevac save, very last second. If he didn't get that little medevac achievement, I'm sure he did it just now. Great control indeed. A couple more Stalkers, pretty good response there. Got to get those ranged units to be able to attack across that little chasm. So all in all, let's look at the Terran player. Let's see what he can do right now. Alright, so he's got the starport. He's got everything left over right here. He's not deciding to throw away a factory. You might actually see him swap it off with the starport here. That's what I'm guessing. I don't think we're going to see too much in the way of Hellion play. That'd be kind of silly at this point. But expansion's looking pretty good. We can see he's got the 4 barracks good to go. Going to be going pretty heavy Marauders. Alright, so likely we're going to see Marauder, Medevac, maybe some Vikings as well. I do believe the Terran player scouted. Oh man, this is what I was talking about earlier. This is exactly what you have to worry about when you're dealing with a Terran player like this. So now Terran's trying to force the Protoss army to stick around right over here. Now would actually be a really good time to attack this expansion with another dropship or something like that. He's keeping the Protoss nice and tucked in right here. We see he's actually finally moving some of his forces down. Probably thinking exactly what I just mentioned a moment or two ago. I'm sure at some point Terran will try to pick that off, but with that Observer there in place, I'm sure the Protoss will be able to keep an eye on it. Also, nice placement on this Observer as well. He's pretty much got in position on both of the armies. Oh, sure enough, pylon goes down. Uh-oh, both warp gates are actually out of power, and one of them might be going down. Oh man, well the Protoss doesn't really have a lot in the way of ranged units in this particular area. Now he has the Colossus. A couple Stalkers there as well. It'll help out a good bit. 1 force field going down. There's the dropship pickup and safe. There's that factory heading down like we were talking about a moment or two ago. Sure enough, yeah, it looks like he's just going to keep on going with a pretty traditional Marauder, Viking / Medevac play. I mean, you know, it's very effective. I mean, I'll certainly say that. Some people say it's not very inspired, but you know what? Inspiration really doesn't matter when you can secure a victory like that. The nice thing that I do like, he does have a ghost in there already, a couple of them, so very good indeed. I believe it was the game where we saw Satini versus, what's his name, last game I cast, where I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but there was definitely a lack of ghosts there until the very end, and like I said, I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but I do think that was one of the things that hindered Satini. You'll have to watch the game for yourself and see exactly how things go down, but we are seeing this Terran army continue to form, as down here the Protoss decided, alright, go ahead and take out these rocks. He's probably feeling like he's okay to take his 3rd base at this point. He's got the Colossi, he realizes Terran probably doesn't have too much that can be a challenge at this point, but little does he know. Oh, Terran player actually moving out here. He's got a good number of medevacs, a couple Vikings as well. We can actually look at the unit composition to see exactly what the armies are comprised of at this point in time. Right now, the income, though, is actually very close to one another, 55 to 49. There's the observer right there getting that crucial information. Good placement on that. Knows exactly what's going on and is aware of the fact that he might face attack here in just a moment. So here's the Protoss Death Ball. You see he's got a couple Phoenix now. And look at the factory placement right there, folks. I like that a lot. And you see, actually, Terran is deciding to try to move out, realizing Protoss is a little bit out of position, but you see Protoss actually shifts back. Phoenix going in first. Will the Vikings actually be able to pick one of those off? No, it looks like they are going to not fight after all. Once again, Terran trying to delay this expansion as long as possible, while putting down his own, currently 50% on the high-yield expansion. Looking at the army size right now, we can see 138 to 140. Very close. Very close indeed. APM right now, 119 to 156. Units lost 12 to 5. You can see Protoss has definitely lost more so far in this game. And that pesky factory, man, I swear, I would not be surprised if he seriously landed it right here and tried to build a tech lab just to annoy him with the gas. Looking over here, everything's looking pretty good in the Protoss base. We can see he's got another Colossi on the way. Not too much going on, actually. Both players just building up, getting their economy going, macroing, so on and so forth. You can actually see what the Terran player sees right here. Not a whole lot, actually. He's got pretty updated information, though. Oh, man, I'm surprised I didn't get this warp gate finally finished off. But, you know, that Colossus and the ledge there, pretty difficult to deal with. I do like how ROONRAZER is trying to get as many Phoenix out as possible to deal with those Phoenix. We can see there's a good bit of them right here. Great positioning with the units here by Rainbow. Don't think this could really be much better than it is now. So at this point, we're just going to waiting for the players to attack here. I mean, really, it's looking like we're going to have some kind of a front-end battle. I don't think we're going to have any drops or anything like that that are going to initiate it, although we did see earlier that there was a great opportunity, of course, using that factory to pull the Protoss army out of position and block the expansion. Very good. Oh my god, look at the perfect placement of the EMPs right there on top of the Protoss army, taking out all but one Colossi worth of shields. And now the Terran stemming and is just annihilating the Protoss ground forces. Even with all the Phoenix flying around up there, there is nothing that Roon can do to stop this Marauder army from just wrecking the ground forces. Good play indeed. Nexus is looking pretty good. We can look at the units lost now as a result of that battle. We can see it's actually gotten pretty darn close, 49 to 52. Protoss definitely closed that gap a good bit, at least the ratio. But still, both sides suffered some pretty darn heavy losses in that fight. Now that both players have the high yields, we can see income has shifted up a little bit more, 56 to 51. And I like how he's... Oh, wow, he's actually got the Hellion right here. Sure enough, he did indeed land that factory. Phoenix response is going to be swift, though. Yep, there we go. Good play, good play. So Terran's going to have to get a couple medevacs here to heal up this army, but we're looking at it, it's actually pretty solid. He's got a lot of these Marauders still intact. He may actually be looking to expand here again in just a moment or two to this high-yield expansion. And this factory is still alive. Oh, my god. I really do like his way of playing. Even when he's not actually attacking, he's trying to float the darn base down there and harass by that method. So I might see Terran actually... Oh, well, he's got SCVs at the 3 o'clock and the 9 o'clock. Took out the rocks up here at the top left. He might decide to drop more than one expansion. I don't know. It's hard to say. Well, you look at the money right now, though. He's sitting at about 1,500 minerals, 159 supply. So he's got to be thinking of doing something with it here any minute now. He's got enough gas for, a couple units, so we can't say he's exactly holding back on the account of gas. Couple more barracks here, that's going to help him fill out that production. Overall, looking pretty good. Second starport on the way, and yeah, Protoss just continue to build out those gateways, trying to get those ground forces. You know, that was where he was lacking just a tiny bit. But, you know, those EMPs in that first battle, they were just impeccable. Could not be better. Completely shut down the Protoss army, and we saw the results. You see, he's not really changing his unit composition, though. He's got a good number of Zealots, going with pretty much 3-to-1 ratio, it looks like, for the gateway units. Still got a large number of Phoenix in play here. There's that expansion going down, like I was talking about a moment or two ago. And now the mineral comparison's kind of evened out there. Both of them are sitting close to 1,000 minerals, about 300 gas. But the Terran army definitely maxed right now. We could see 2-1 upgrades for the infantry forces, nothing for the air. 002 for the ground, and 001 for the air. We'll see how that comes into play here. Now, looking at the Terran army comparison, we can see there is, I think, a few less Vikings than we saw the last engagement. But they're those ghosts again. We see he's got 3 of them there this time. Plenty enough to blanket the Protoss army once again. I like how he's keeping them a little bit separated there. He might be worried about a little bit of a High Templar. I don't know. He has kept pretty up-to-date information. I think he has scanned around a tiny bit. Not recently, though, so no, he is where the gateway is going up, and that's about it. So he's probably expecting a little bit more of the same in terms of the army composition. Throwing up that turret and planetary fortress there. Pretty standard defense for that 4th base. Had to stop and look for a second. He is going to be having a meal party in just a moment or two, though. Splitting up the army, maybe going... Oh, there's the scan, just checking to see exactly where the Protoss army is. Doesn't find it. So he's still being a little bit hesitant about where he wants to move his forces. Heard another scan right there, checking to make sure there's nothing down there, and it looks like he's going in for the kill. Several structures already going down. Here comes the Protoss response. Phoenix heading in first. Terran realizes what's going on. There's the EMP right there. Lands on top of the Phoenix. Another one lands right there in those forces. But we see about half of them are still at full shields. Force field's going down this time, so there's not going to be any kiting back away from the Colossi. And look at that. Phoenix have complete air dominance, and Terran is going to be on the run. All of the Colossi are still intact. That's just so much damage. Very well played fight indeed by ROONRAZER, now going on the offensive with the counterattack here. This Ghost just running for his life. Oh, sweet Ghost. How we missed you, or loved you for the 2 seconds that we actually knew you existed. And now, looking at the army size, we could see 151 to 89. Terran, this is his little ball of death. A couple Marines here that, oh my god, those are like seriously the luckiest Marines on the planet. Rally point there. But the Colossi, oh sweet Colossi. I think, not sure, I haven't seen any GGs here yet, but no, I think at this point Terran is pretty much just screwed, man. 150 something to 80, 151 to 94. Terran is trying as hard as he can to press out, but the Colossi just taking out the infantry as soon as they spawn, and the Phoenix camping the starports. I mean, they could not be doing anything closer than they are right now to camping spawning positions for the Terran player. Here come the SCVs and Marines making one last desperate attempt to take out the Colossi here. Will it be effective, though? I think not. One Colossi does go down. So one last victory here for the Protoss, or for the Terran player, rather, as his base continues to shrink. Gateway Forces taking out the Natural this time as well. You can see he is trying to pump out as much, and there's the GG right there from StartaleRainbow. ROONRAZER taking the victory over a Code S player. Very well played indeed. Good counterattack. Only thing that I saw really that was glaringly was the building placement, specifically this warp gate right here. I mean, the pylon obviously had a purpose, but Terran, oh Terran, you jerks. Alright, so that's pretty much going to be it for this game. I do hope you enjoyed it, and I've actually got one more game. I think it actually has ROONRAZER as well. I wonder if he wins or if he loses. I don't know. We'll have to find out. Stay tuned, and I'm out.